We will now look at algebraic fractions, but first a short introduction on how to do mathematics. Number and copy the examples. Ask your tutor or teacher if there are any of the steps that you do not understand. Number the questions. Unless you have the ability to get fit while watching someone else run, you must do the questions on your own before working through the answers. Mark your answers. If it is incorrect, write down the corrections. Make sure you understand where you went wrong. This will enable you to do better the next time you attempt a similar sum. So an overview on what we'll be doing in this video. First we'll look at addition and subtraction of algebraic fractions, and then multiplication and division. Now just for the step on addition and subtraction. So steps are as follows. The first one is to find the lowest common denominator and set all terms over the lowest common denominator. Then to write the expression with one long dividing line. And next to multiply out and simplify the numerator. And then to simplify the expression if possible. So for example 23, we have the following example. So in this case, the first step is to find the lowest common denominator. But before we do that, we're just going to factorize all of the denominators in order to get all our factors out, because we need to find the factors that will contain all of them, or a group of factors that will contain all of them. That means finding the lowest common denominator. So the first thing we're going to do is just to factorize this expression. You should recognize it as difference of squares. So to write this out, we've got 2 over x minus 3 plus 1 over x plus 3, and then minus x over x plus 3, x minus 3. So our lowest common denominator is then x plus 3 and x minus 3. And then the next step, we're going to put everybody, or multiply everybody through to contain the lowest common denominator. So for the first term, we see that it contains x minus 3. Now we need, in order to set it over the lowest common denominator, we need, it still needs a x plus 3. So what we're going to do is multiply it with x plus 3, but what we do at the bottom we have to do at the top. So that the numerator also gets to be multiplied with x plus 3. Then for the next term we have a x plus 3, so we need a x minus 3. So we're going to multiply top and bottom with x minus 3. And then finally the last term already contains the lowest common denominator, so we don't have to multiply it with everything or anything. Now to put everything over the lowest common denominator, let's just write out what we have in the numerators. We have 2 multiplied by x plus 3, then plus, so this is just 1 times by x minus 3, and then that's just minus x. Then we put everybody over the LCD, so we have x plus 3 and x minus 3. And then we simplify the numerator, so we multiply these brackets out. We've got 2x plus 6 plus x minus 3 minus x, and that's still over x plus 3 and x minus 3. And then we simplify. So this is adding the like terms, 2x plus x minus x. So this plus x and minus x equals 0. So we just have 2x, and then 6 minus 3 is 3. That's all over x plus 3 and x minus 3. Now normally, or in some cases, we can simplify this further by factorizing again and then cancelling, although in this case this is its simplest form. So for question 23.1, let's first start off by finding our lowest common denominator. Now in this case we have x squared over here, so that means we need an x squared, or 2 x's, and then we have y cubed, so that's also what we need over here. Alright, so now to get everybody over the lowest common denominator, this guy needs another x, so you're going to multiply it with x, and this guy, and it needs another y squared. So what we do at the bottom, we have to do at the top. And then in this case, we have x and a y cubed, so we only need an x, so we multiply x top and bottom. And then here we have x squared already, but we just need another y. Now let's write down what we have. So that's 2xy squared, and then minus x times by 3y squared minus x squared, and then plus y multiplied by xy plus y squared. That's all over our lowest common denominator, x squared y cubed. Now for the next step, we simplify the numerator. So here we just have 2xy squared. This x multiplies in. We have minus 3xy squared, and then minus times a minus becomes a plus, and that's x cubed, and then plus xy squared plus y cubed, still over x squared y cubed. Now the next step is to add the like terms. So here we have 2xy squared, 3xy squared, and xy squared over here. Those are like terms. So if I say 2 minus 3 is minus 1xy squared plus 1xy squared, so that equals to 0. That means these guys will cancel each other out. So what we are left with is x cubed plus y cubed. This y goes in, it becomes y cubed. So this is y cubed, then x squared y cubed. For question 23.2, now the following. So here we have x plus y, x minus y, x squared minus y squared. So once again, this is a difference of squares. So we'll just start off by factorizing that first. That means we have 1 over x plus y minus 1 over x minus y plus 2x over, now factorizing x plus y and x minus y. So our lowest common denominator then will be x plus y and x minus y. Now over here, to get this over the lowest common denominator, we just need to multiply it with x minus y, and we do it at the top as well, x minus y. And then over here, we need to multiply this guy with x plus y, and at the top as well, multiply by x plus y. And then this one already contains the lowest common denominator. So next step is to put everybody over the lowest common denominator, and we write x minus y minus x plus y. Just be careful for this negative to still put these in brackets, and then plus 2x, and that's all over x plus y and x minus y. Alright, now let's simplify. We can start with, or we're going to start with multiplying in this minus into the bracket. So you have x minus y minus x minus y plus 2x. That's over x plus y and x minus y. And then we add the like term. So here we have x minus x, that equals 0. Then we have a 2x over here, so that's 2x. Then minus y minus another y, that's minus 2y. And then that's over x plus y and x minus y. Then we can see we can still factorize this part now. So we take out a 2 and we're left with x minus y. That's over x plus y and x minus y. Then we can cancel these two products. So we have 2 over x plus y left. Then for question 23.3, so once again, we'd like to start factorizing. So we have 1 over, Now this x squared minus 4, that gives us x plus 2 and x minus 2 plus 3 over 2 minus x. So now, in order to find the lowest common denominator, if we should find it with these factors, we've got x plus 2, x minus 2, and 2 minus x. But if we use all three of these in the lowest common denominator, it's going to be extremely long. We can actually shorten it by changing this 2 minus x into x minus 2. Now, just remember that if we want to swap these two terms around, we cannot just say that 2 minus x equals to x minus 2. That's not equal. If I should take 2 minus x and swap them around, I will get minus x plus 2, because I have to check that sign needs to go with the term. And then if I take out a negative, then I'm left with x minus 2. So the shorthand way is, if you want to swap two terms around and there's a negative between them, just change the sign in front of the fraction when you swap them around. So next step, we're going to just swap these two guys around. Now that only counts for if this is a negative. If it is a positive, then you can easily just swap them around and without changing anything else. So this is then 1 over x plus 2, x minus 2, and then we change the sign and we swap those two around, so that's then x minus 2. So now our lowest common denominator will be much shorter. We just have x plus 2 and x minus 2. So for the first fraction, we don't need to multiply anything, but the second one we need a x plus 2. So multiplying that top and bottom, and then we put everybody over the lowest common denominator. So that's 1 minus 3 multiplied by x plus 2, and that's over x plus 2, x minus 2. And that's equal to, so multiplying in the negative 3, we have 1 minus 3x minus 6 over x plus 2, x minus 2. And then adding the like terms, we have minus 5 minus 3x over x plus 2 and x minus 2. And that was addition and subtraction. We now move on to multiplication and division. So with multiplication and division, the steps are as follows. The first step is, if the expression contains a division, then change the division. For example, if the fraction is a over b and it says divided by a over b, we change it to multiply b over a. So also known as flip and time. So the second step is to factorize all the numerators and the denominators. Then we cancel where possible, and then we multiply out, and then we simplify if possible. Now for the first example, example 24, we have the following. So the first step said if we have a division, we have to change it to multiplication. So we need to change this to multiplication and swap these two around. Now, because this is it looks quite like a long sum, so what I'm going to do is just to, in one step, I'm going to factorize everything and change my multiplication change the division to a multiplication. So this will save quite a lot of time. So in order to factorize the first one, this is a trinomial. So we have the factors of 15, and that would be, to get negative 2, the factors of 15 will be 3 and 5. So we'll say x minus 5 and x plus 3. And then here we just have common factor. So we take out a 2, we're left with x minus 5 multiplied. Here again, just a common factor of 4. So this is 2 minus x, and here x minus 2. And then times, so the 2 goes up and the x plus 3 comes down. Okay, so now let's see where we can cancel. We've got this x plus 3 that can cancel with this x plus 3. X minus 5, these 2's can cancel. Now notice here we've got 2 minus x and x minus 2. So I'm going to change this into so over here we cancelled everything. We could, for this step, just write a 1 times by this 2 minus x. I'm going to change the sign and then change the sign and swap them around. So this is then x minus 2 over x minus 2. And then all of these also cancelled, so just put a 1 there. So 1 times this is just this expression, so we can cancel these guys out. So 1 times minus 4 times 1, that just gives us negative 4. Now for question 24.1. So our first step is to factorize. In the first numerator, we've got x squared minus 4, that's difference of squares, so that's x plus 2, and then x minus 2, that's over. Here we have difference of squares again, x plus 6, x minus 6, and then that's multiplied. Here we have a common factor of x, so that's just x plus 6, and there we have a common factor of 2, so that's x plus 2. And now to cancel, only top and bottom can cancel, so x plus 6 and x plus 6 can cancel, and then x plus 2 and x plus 2 can cancel. So what is left? We've got x minus 2 over 2x minus 6. Question 24.2. Now we start by factorizing and also changing this division sign into multiplication sign. Now for the first one, we've got a quadratic factorization, and factors of 12 that will give me negative 1 is negative 4 and plus 3. So we have a minus 4 and a plus 3. That's over. Now next one is just a common factor, so we have 2a minus 4 multiplied. Take out a common factor over here, a minus 3, and then this one is already factored or can't be factorized. And then we swap these two around, so this becomes multiply 2 over a plus 3. Now I'll start by cancelling. Now we can only cancel top and bottom, so a minus 3, those cancels. We've got an a plus 3 over here, and here we've got a minus 4, and we've got 2's. So basically all that's left is this a, and that's our final answer. For question 24.3, so once again, first step is to factorize, and here we have a division. So these two needs to be swapped around. So first one, 3x plus y over x minus 2y. So neither of those can be factored, and then multiply. Now in one step I'm going to factor and take this guy up and this guy down. So x squared minus 4y squared, that's difference of squares, so that's x plus 2y and x minus 2y over, and then here we have a common factor of 4, so that comes out. Remember, this guy now moves down 4, and then if I take out 4, I'm left with 3x plus y, and then times by 3x minus y over x plus 2y. Alright, so let's cancel. Here we have 3x plus y, and over here, then x plus 2y is here, and then x minus 2y is over here and here. And then all that's left, so this is just 1 times by, this is just 1 over 4, and times by this 3x minus y over 1, because this was also cancelled. So to multiply out, we just have 1 times this times, so the numerators gets multiplied together and the denominators gets multiplied. That means we have 3x minus y over 4. That was multiplication and addition, and that means we've worked through algebraic fractions.